Zara, and thank you, Stony, for having us. And I'm so happy. I am Retha Fernandez. My role at Community Offshore Wind is Manager of Workforce Development and Equity. And I'm so happy that I'm following Alexandra because everything she said about the types of careers, ditto, same as Community Offshore Wind. But I'll talk a little bit more about the careers in offshore wind in general. So I'm just going to start with a video.
64 miles out to sea, Community Offshore Wind is building a wind farm that will connect into Brooklyn and improve the way New Yorkers receive energy.
Our project is going to uplift New Yorkers for generations.
This phase of our project will power over 500,000 homes. For our entire lease area, we have the potential to power over 1 million homes.
We're going to drive New York towards its ambitious climate goals, clean up the air we breathe,
And make our communities more resilient in the face of severe weather.
One of the fundamental challenges we heard from our communities was not access.
We need to lower the barriers of entry into the workforce.
That's why we're teaming up with United Way to invest $10 million into reduced cost childcare.
We are really interested in developing and growing the workforce for community offshore wind. And that really starts with inspiring young people to think about careers in renewable energy.
We partnered with the YMCA to offer youth for lessons, a first step exploring the offshore wind. We also spent a lot of time getting to know our neighbors.
Where there was food insecurity, we donated over 30,000 meals of locally sourced seafood to food pantries statewide.
When there were beaches that needed cleanup, we collected 900 pounds of garbage.
We have a real pivotal opportunity right now with our project just at the path forward, and it's great to be a part of that.
I'll tell you about Community Offshore Wind, and then I'll ask you a couple of questions. So, like Attentive, Community Offshore Wind is a joint venture project between two companies. National Grid, which is a local utility energy company in New York and Massachusetts, and RWE, which is the second largest developer of wind farms globally. And the two companies bring together a significant amount of expertise that will allow Community Offshore Wind to build this utility scale project. The next slide is our right area, yes. So in February of 2022, we participated in a lease auction for a piece of seabed off the coast of New York in the New York Bight. And that orange, we don't know what shape that is. It's not what we learned in geometry class, but that orange piece is our lease area. Our total lease area has the ability to generate 3.4 gigawatts of energy. And for the project that I'm going to talk about today, we are planning to develop about a third of that lease area. That is the largest lease area in the New York Bight, and the New York Bight is that greater light blue piece there between New York and New Jersey. So the question I want to ask is, everyone knows what offshore wind is? Yes? Okay, good. All right, great. Because I do have a few slides on why we're doing this, and a little bit about the turbines and a little bit about wind energy. So this is a slide that we use when we talk to elementary and high school students about offshore wind. And the reason why we're doing it, of course, is climate change, but many others. Turbines in the ocean, our piece of seabed is 64 miles out to sea. So that is out of the view of the human eye from the shore. Of course, wind energy is a source of renewable power. We have the ability through the creation of artificial reefs to have some environmental benefits. And where our lease area is, the turbines are in shallow water, which I will show you a diagram in a little bit. which creates the perfect opportunity for us to develop offshore wind farms. So this is what it looks like, and this graphic is from the owner of Ocean Energy Management. Have you all seen something like this before? So I don't need to go into detail about it. Okay. So I needed that because, like Alexandra, I had never worked in offshore wind or energy or anything like that. I'll tell you a little bit about my background later when we talk about the careers. But I needed this, and this was very helpful for me. So I'll just let you look at the beautiful blade spinning for a second. I don't have to explain it to you. Okay. And then the parts of the wind turbine, again, this is demonstrative for individuals that may have never heard of offshore wind or wind turbines or windmills, which we say they're not windmills, they're wind turbines or turbines. And you're all familiar with this, yes? Okay. Again, for me, I've been with the company for a year. Terms like nacelle and monopile are new to my lexicon. Never heard of them before. Now I know. Okay, so a little bit about our project timeline. It's a huge construction project, and right now we are in the planning and developing and permitting phase. So my role is I'm within our community engagement stakeholder relationship part of the project, and we do a lot of work right now in this phase to create awareness about our project, to educate, like I said, the youth and other individuals about offshore wind and careers in offshore wind, and for businesses, supply chain opportunities within offshore wind. Also, our team educates local government officials, state and elected, and federal officials about offshore wind and about our project. So there is a lot of activity that happens even before we think about building anything. Like Alexandra mentioned, the permitting process is several years long, and so there's a lot of work that has to be done from now until then. So until about the end of 2026, we'll be done with that. We start construction, actually start building the parts for the turbine in 2027. It's about a 3-year construction period, and then we go offshore, and our turbines will be in operation. And we're estimating that the life of the turbines to be about 20 or so years. During this time, during maintenance, there are jobs available for wind turbine technicians and others that's going to maintain the turbines while they're in operation. And then we're estimating the end of our lease term to be about 2062. And at that point, we will decommission, we will reconsider whether or not we're going to continue to build another farm. And of course, we're going to do all of our decommissioning in a responsible manner. Okay, so this is a slide that we talk about the types of careers available across the different phases. And this we bring with us when we talk to schools and career fairs, because it demonstrates the types of careers that may be available for someone that's beginning their career, someone all the way up to people that are advancing their careers, like the PhDs. So similar to the Attentive Wind project, our permitting managers and our commercial bid managers and our project managers come from different backgrounds. So marine science, environmental science, engineers. Because this was new to me, I too asked my colleagues, so what did you study in order for you to do this? And it was very interesting because when I went to college, some of those majors weren't even around. I mean, I know I look young, but I went to college a long time ago. All I knew about was electrical, chemical, mechanical, industrial, civil engineering. So as you can see, part of what I do in the workforce development is not only to engineering students, not even only to students that are in college or going to college, we talk about the types of opportunities that may be available no matter what we choose to do after high school. A significant amount of the onshore work will be in the unions, in the building and construction trades. And so for many of those, you don't need a college degree. We are really interested in ensuring that we have a workforce to build these farms. And some people may get deterred if they think that they have to go to college in order to work in this industry. And that is absolutely not true. So this slide, which is a big trifold, is very demonstrative in that way. And this is available on NYSERDA's website, the state agency that governs it. So for me, how did I get into offshore wind? So my college journey is a whole TED Talk in and of itself, but I did start off as a chemical engineer. I didn't finish as a chemical engineer. I finished with a degree in organizational management. But my work life covers the private sector, nonprofit, public sector, and now I'm here in energy. And the reason for how I got here, so my background is a little bit in technology. So I was a technology executive for a Fortune 500 company. I worked in nonprofit for a little bit in racial equity. My last position before I came to work with Community Offshore Wind. And I forgot to mention, I'm on the National Grid side of our joint venture, so I'm employed by National Grid. So before that, I was with Suffolk County government, and my role was Chief Diversity Officer. So how do you go from Chief Diversity Officer to talking about offshore wind? Well, I'll tell you. When, in October 2022, when Kathy Hochul came to Long Island to make an announcement about offshore wind, some of you will remember that, and she was talking about the opportunities for jobs, for workers, for businesses, in offshore wind, and as a result of this huge investment and basically these development projects. And I'm sitting in my office at the county and I'm asking myself, well, I know that there are typically groups of people underrepresented that often get left out of economic development benefits and planning. And so those have historically been Black and brown communities. So I said, who's going to make sure that Black and brown communities have an opportunity to take advantage and work in this field should they want to? And I just started asking questions of great people that I know, folks in labor. I called Ryan Stony. I called folks that I knew in the government, people that I knew in New York State government agencies. Who's going to make sure that anyone that wants to participate in this industry has the opportunity? One phone call led to another, to a conversation with my now boss. And I asked her, who's going to make sure that Black and brown folks have an opportunity in this industry? And she said, well, I don't really know the answer to that fully, but there's a position on my team in our business development. And the job description was kind of not fully built out, kind of vague. You may or may not have that experience when you get into the workforce because you have your degrees are, engineering, marine science, kind of sort of really specific. However, I will say that the reason why I'm able to do the job that I do now is because of transferable skills and my previous jobs that I've had in the past that led me to where I am today. So she sent me the job description and I said, okay, fine. I'll interview for it. It looks like something I could do, right? It's really about talking to people, creating equity where possible, and ensuring that we develop a project that is transparent, responsible, and inclusive. I could do that. So I interviewed and I started, and I had to learn all of those words, nacelle, monopile, all those things. And now I realize that I'm in the position where I can answer the very same questions that I was asking. And I am very grateful for that because I get to do things like this and talk to, in the future, workers in our workforce, hopefully. I have a 16-year-old son. He is looking at college now. He's actually going to be looking at Stony Brook because he's going to study electrical engineering because I told him we need electricians and electrical engineers. So, so do that. So that's how I came to my career. And then I'll just close with just a little bit more about our project. Similar to Attentive Energy, we will be investing in communities. We do a lot of engagement with our varied stakeholders to understand how our project can uplift and empower communities, how we can create the workforce and remove barriers for anyone that wants to participate in this industry to be able to participate, and of course, do our part to reduce the effects of climate change. I won't go into this a little bit too much. This is just a little bit more about our investments. And again, this is more about our community engagement as well. And this is important because it's through this engagement that we get to understand what's important to the communities where our project will be touching. So we are, of course, it's offshore, but there's a lot of onshore work that will have to be done. And so you will be in communities causing a little bit of disruption, but you also want individuals and organizations to understand the benefits of this. So I'm actually gonna sign up. Can I sign up for that debate? Because I really wanna see what, okay, good. I'm gonna sign up for that debate. This is basically saying we're gonna develop in an inclusive, equitable, and transparent, responsible way. And there is my information. And if you scan this QR code, it goes to our website where we have more information about what our fisheries team does, which you may be interested in. We post when and where we're doing survey work. Our fisheries team has collectively over 75 years of experience. Like Alexandra, some of them have, I think one has a PhD, most of them have masters, significant work and life experience that they bring to the project. And yeah, I think that's it about Community Offshore Wind. Okay, my last thought is whatever it is that you think that you may want to do professionally, pretty sure you can find a role for yourself in offshore wind. It's not on Community Offshore Wind, it could be on one of the other projects, but I'm pretty sure there's a space for you. Thank you.